Left to die on the battlefield, she didn't expect a human to be her savior. The crimson dust of planet Zarian swirled around combat medic Zara Nightfall as she swept her scanner across the battlefield's edge. The twin suns cast eerie shadows through the smoke, making every twisted piece of metal look like a fallen soldier. Her orders were clear: retrieve human casualties only, leave the rest. But something glinted in the distance, something that made her pause. Zara crept forward, her medical kit bouncing against her hip with each careful step. The war between humanity and the Valorian Empire had raged for 3 years, leaving countless worlds scarred. She'd seen enough death to last 10 lifetimes, yet something about this particular glint called to her as she rounded a collapsed transport. Her breath caught. There, half buried beneath twisted alien metal, lay a figure unlike anything she'd ever seen. The being's skin shimmered with an opalescent quality, shifting between deep blues and silver as shallow breaths moved her chest. Forearms, elegantly long, were folded protectively over what appeared to be a severe abdominal wound. Her face, while clearly non-human, held a haunting beauty with large, luminous eyes that flickered between consciousness and oblivion. Zara's training screamed at her to walk away. This was clearly a Valorian soldier, one of the enemy. Her people would court-martial her for even considering aid. But as those alien eyes focused on her with a mixture of fear and desperate hope, Zara found herself kneeling beside the wounded. "Warrior, please," the alien whispered in accented standard, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "My cohort, ... They left me, said I was compromised beyond value." The words hit Zara like a physical blow. She'd heard rumors of Valorian military doctrine, their cold efficiency that viewed wounded soldiers as expendable resources. But seeing it firsthand, watching this beautiful being abandoned to die alone, ignited something fierce in her chest. "Your name?" Zara asked softly, already pulling medical supplies from her kit. "Kethis," came the reply, followed by a longer string of melodious syllables. "Kethis Starweave of the 3rd Luminous Battalion." Zara's scanner revealed the extent of Kethis's injuries. Massive internal bleeding, 3 broken ribs, and what appeared to be severe plasma burns across her lower torso. Without immediate intervention, she had maybe an hour left. "I'm Zara," she said, injecting a broad-spectrum coagulant that should work on Valorian physiology. "And you're not dying on my watch." Kethis's eyes widened, those luminous orbs seeming to drink in Zara's face with wonder. "Why?" "Your people and mind. ... We are enemies." Zara worked quickly, sealing the worst of the bleeding while setting up a portable medical stabilizer. "Right now, you're not my enemy. You're someone who needs help, and I'm someone who can give it." As the stabilizer's gentle hum filled the air, Kethis reached out with one of her upper hands, fingers trembling as they touched Zara's wrist. The contact sent an unexpected jolt through both of them, a recognition that transcended species and circumstance. "Your skin," Kethis murmured. "It's so warm." Zara felt heat rise in her cheeks at the simple observation, spoken with such innocent wonder. "Yours changes color. It's beautiful." A soft silver flush spread across Kethis's features, and Zara realized she might be witnessing the alien equivalent of a blush. The moment stretched between them, intimate and impossible, until the distant rumble of approaching vehicles broke the spell. "We need to move," Zara said urgently, scooping Kethis into her arms with practiced efficiency. The alien was surprisingly light, her form seeming to pulse with internal luminescence as pain medication took effect. As they disappeared into the maze of battlefield wreckage, neither could know that this moment of compassion would reshape not just their own destinies, but the fate of 2 entire civilizations locked in bitter war. The hidden medical bunker hummed with quiet efficiency as Zara monitored Kethis's vital signs 3 days later. What had started as emergency battlefield medicine had evolved into something deeper, more complex. The alien warrior was healing remarkably fast, her body's natural regenerative abilities enhanced by human medical technology in ways that fascinated. "Zara, your people's medicine is different," Kethis observed, watching Zara adjust the biomonitors. "Gentler than ours." Zara smiled, noting how Kethis's skin shifted to warmer hues when she was content. We tend to focus on healing the whole person, not just the injury. The whole person, Kethis repeated thoughtfully. In Valorian medical doctrine, we repair damage and return to function. There is no consideration for comfort or emotional wellness. The admission made Zara's heart ache. She'd spent hours over the past days learning about Valorian society through careful questions and observation. Everything seemed built around efficiency and hierarchy, with little room for individual needs or feelings. "How do you express affection?" Zara asked suddenly, then blushed at her own boldness. "I mean friendship. How do Valorians show they care about each other?" Kethis tilted her head, a gesture Zara had learned meant confusion. "Affection is ... not encouraged. Emotional attachments compromise judgment. Loyalty through competence, loyalty through obedience." The clinical nature of it horrified Zara. Without thinking, she reached out and gently touched Kethis's hand. The alien's skin immediately brightened, shifting through a spectrum of warm golds and soft greens. "What does that mean?" Zara asked. Mesmerized by the light show, the colors? Kethis stared down at their joined hands, her breathing quickening. I don't know. This has never happened before." The honesty in her voice made Zara's pulse race. She should pull away, maintain professional distance, but something about Kethis drew her in like gravity. Instead, she intertwined their fingers, watching as waves of color danced across the alien's skin. "Does it hurt?" Zara whispered.
No.
Kethis breathed, her luminous eyes fixed on Zara's face. "It feels ... warm. Safe, like being held by starlight." The poetic description sent shivers down Zara's spine. She found herself leaning closer, studying the intricate patterns of light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with both their heartbeats. "Zara," Kethis said softly, her lower hands reaching up to cup the human's face. "What is happening to me? To us?" Before Zara could answer, the bunker's proximity alarm chimed. They sprang apart, the spell broken by harsh reality. Through the periscope, Zara could see human patrol vehicles approaching. "You have to hide," she said urgently, helping Kethis to a concealed medical bay. "If they find you here," Kethis caught her hand as she turned to leave. "Will you come back?" The desperate hope in those alien eyes nearly undid Zara completely. "I promise." As she sealed the hidden compartment and prepared to face her commanding officer's questions, Zara realized that somewhere between saving Kethis's life and watching her skin dance with impossible colors, she had fallen completely and irrevocably in love with an enemy soldier. The war between their peoples suddenly seemed less important than the connection sparking between two hearts that should never have met. 2 weeks had passed since Zara first concealed Kethis from the patrol, and their secret meetings had become the highlight of both their existences. Under cover of routine medical supply runs, Zara had relocated them to an abandoned research station deep in Zirian's crystalline caves, where bioluminescent formations provided natural camouflage for Kethis's light displays. "Show me again," Zara whispered, lying beside Kethis on a bed of salvaged emergency blankets. They'd grown bold in their isolation, their connection deepening with each stolen moment. Kethis smiled, an expression she'd learned from watching Zara. Slowly, she let her natural luminescence flow freely across her skin. Waves of soft blue and gold rippled from where Zara's fingers traced patterns on her arm, creating trails of light that pulsed with their shared heartbeat. In Valorian culture, this is called soul singing, Kethis explained, her voice soft with wonder. "It only happens when two beings share perfect resonance. I thought it was just legend." Zara's breath caught as she watched the lights dance between them. "What does it mean?" "It means," Kethis said, turning to face her fully, "that our souls recognize each other across the void of space and species." Her 4 hands came up to frame Zara's face, thumbs brushing across cheekbones with reverent gentleness. "It means, I love you, Zara Nightfall." The words hung in the crystal-lit air between them, brave and terrifying and absolutely true. Zara felt tears prick her eyes as she leaned into Kethis's touch. "I love you too," she whispered back, "even though it's impossible. Even though we're supposed to be enemies." Kethis's skin flared brilliant gold at the confession, and she pulled Zara closer until they were breathing the same air. Nothing impossible could feel this right. Their first kiss was electric, literally illuminating the cave around them, as Kethis' emotional response painted the walls with shifting auroras. Zara marveled at the alien softness of Kethis' lips, the way her lover's skin grew warm and radiant under her touch. "I want to learn everything about you," Zara murmured against Kethis' throat, pressing soft kisses to the pulse point there. Every secret, every dream, every fear. Kethis' hands tangled in Zara's hair as waves of pleasure-bright colors cascaded across her form. "I want to understand why humans touch with such tenderness. Why you saved me when your kind demands cruelty." Spent hours exploring each other with innocent wonder, mapping the differences and similarities between their forms. Zara discovered that Kethis' forearms allowed for embraces of impossible complexity, while Kethis marveled at the warmth that radiated from human skin like captured sunlight. But their peace was shattered when Zara's communication device crackled to life with an emergency broadcast. Both women froze as the message played, describing the discovery of alien technology in the medical bunker and the subsequent manhunt for whoever had been harboring an enemy soldier. "They know," Zara breathed, her blood turning to ice. Kethis was already moving, her military training overriding the blissful haze of new love. "How long before they track us here? Ours may be less." Zara began gathering their meager supplies with shaking hands. "We need to run." As they prepared to flee their sanctuary, Kethis caught Zara's hand, her skin pulsing with determined silver light. "Whatever happens, know that these days with you have been the first time I've ever felt truly alive." Zara kissed her fiercely, pouring all her love and desperation into the contact. This isn't over. I won't let them tear us apart." Hand in hand, the unlikely lovers plunged into the uncertain darkness beyond their crystal cave, carrying with them a love that could either doom them both or change the fate of two warring worlds. The chase had lasted 3 days across Zirians, hostile terrain with both human and Valorian forces converging on their position. Zara's theft of medical supplies had been discovered, and Kethis' absence from her designated death site had triggered automated tracking protocols. Now they huddled in a bombed-out communications array, watching as searchlights swept the horizon. "They're closing in," Zara observed grimly, checking her scanner. "Both armies. It looks like they're finally cooperating on something." Kethis' skin flickered with distressed purples and deep reds as she monitored Valorian frequencies. "My people have branded me a traitor? The penalty is... severe?" Zara pulled her closer, feeling the alien's form tremble against her. "We'll find a way out. We have to." "Zara," Kethis said softly, "there's something you need to know. The reason this war started, it wasn't territorial expansion or resource conflicts like both sides claim." Before she could continue, the building shook as plasma fire erupted nearby. Through the shattered windows, they could see both armies approaching. From different directions, their temporary alliance held together only by shared determination to capture the fugitives. "Tell me while we move," Zara said, gathering their gear. As they navigated the building's collapsed sections, Kethis revealed the truth. It was a test. Both governments knew about soul singing, about the possibility of interspecies bonding. They needed to see if it was just myth or if it could threaten their control. Zara stopped dead, the implications hitting her like a physical blow. They started a war to prevent people like us from existing. "Fear makes tyrants of us all," Kethis said sadly. "They would rather watch millions die than risk losing power to love." The building erupted in crossfire as both forces arrived simultaneously. Zara and Kethis found themselves pinned in the communications center, surrounded by enemies who wanted them dead or worse. "Surrender now," came amplified voices in both languages. "You are surrounded." In the chaos, Zara and Kethis looked at each other with perfect understanding. If they were going to die, it would be together, and their love would not be hidden. "I'm not ashamed of what we are," Zara said firmly, taking Kethis' hands. "Nor am I," Kethis replied, letting her skin blaze with brilliant white light that could be seen for miles. "Let them see what they fear." Together, they stepped into the open doorway, backlit by Kethis' radiance. The effect on both armies was immediate and profound. Human soldiers stopped mid-advance, staring in awe at the impossible beauty of the aliens' light display. Valorian forces hesitated, recognizing the legendary soul singing their elders had described. "This is what you're trying to destroy." Called out to both sides. This connection. This possibility of understanding between our peoples. Kethis' voice joined hers, carrying across the battlefield with crystalline clarity. "We are not your enemy. The real enemy is the fear that keeps us apart." In that moment, illuminated by alien light and human courage, something shifted in the hearts of those watching. Soldiers on both sides began lowering their weapons, seeing not traitors or enemies, but to beings whose love transcended every boundary their leaders had tried to build. The revolution would begin with a single, shining moment of truth. The sight of Zara and Kethis standing together, blazing with ethereal light, created a ripple effect across both armies that no amount of military conditioning could suppress. Soldiers who had spent years following orders to kill suddenly found themselves questioning everything they'd been taught. Commander Harrison of the Human Defense Corps was the first to step forward, his weapon lowered. "Medic Nightfall, explain yourself." Zara squeezed Kethis' hand, drawing strength from their connection. "Sir, everything we've been told about the Valorians is wrong. They're not monsters. They're people, with the same capacity for love and hope that we have." From the Valorian ranks, Sub-Commander Thylix approached with cautious steps. Her ornate armor marked her as high-ranking nobility, and when she saw Kethis' light display, her own skin began to shimmer with suppressed recognition. "Impossible," Thylix breathed. "The soul singing is real." "You know about this?" Commander Harrison demanded. Valex's composure cracked, years of hidden truth spilling out. "Our leaders have known for generations. Humans and Valorians share a genetic compatibility that allows for deep emotional and psychic bonding. Both governments have worked to suppress this knowledge." The revelation sent shockwaves through both armies. Soldiers began talking among themselves, sharing suppressed memories of dreams about the other species. Of inexplicable longing for something they couldn't name, Kethis stepped forward, her skin pulsing with calm, truthful blues. "The war was manufactured to prevent this discovery from spreading. Our leaders feared that love would make us ungovernable." "But look around you," Zara added, gesturing to the mixed crowd of soldiers. "We're not ungovernable. We're finally free to choose our own path." What happened next would be recorded in history as the moment of recognition. One by one, soldiers from both sides began stepping forward, many reaching out tentatively to touch hands across species lines. Where contact was made, small light displays flickered to life. Proof that the capacity for soul singing existed in many more than just Zara and Kethis. Commander Harrison and Sub-Commander Thylix found themselves standing, side by side, watching their armies transform before their eyes. "Our governments won't accept this," Harrison said quietly. "Then perhaps it's time for new governments," Thylix replied, her own skin beginning to show faint luminescence as she spoke with a young human engineer. Within hours, the spontaneous ceasefire had spread across multiple battlefronts as news of the soul singing spread through both fleets. Soldiers who had been trying to kill each other that morning were now sharing food, stories, and the tentative beginnings of interspecies. Friendships, Zara and Kethis found themselves at the center of a growing movement that neither government could control. Their love had become a symbol of what was possible when fear was replaced with understanding. 3 months later, as they stood before the newly formed Interspecies Council, preparing to take their vows as the first officially recognized human Valorian, bonded pair, Kethis' skin blazed with joy-bright gold. "When I lay dying on that battlefield," she said to the assembled crowds, "I thought my story was over. Instead, it was just beginning." Zara smiled, tears streaming down her face as she spoke. Her own vows. Love doesn't know the boundaries we try to build around it. It finds a way across space and time and even war to connect souls that belong together. As their hands joined in the ancient bonding ceremony, light erupted from Kethis in patterns so beautiful that even the official recordings couldn't capture their full glory. The radiance spread outward, touching every person present, human and Valorian alike, filling them with the unmistakable knowledge that love had won. The war was over. The age of unity had begun. And at its heart, two lovers who had refused to let fear define their destiny blazed like a beacon, lighting the way forward for all who would follow. In the end, what had started as a simple act of medical compassion had transformed not just to hearts, but the entire galaxy's understanding of what it meant to truly live.